going on, everyone? This is Sarge, and last week I participated in an interview by a player by the name of Leftthumbstik, who is an aggressive recon player on the Xbox 360. He was interviewing me, and I was answering some of the main topics that kind of a lot of the Battlefield 3 community wrestle with. And so I'm going to be sharing that interview here in this particular video. And I'm going to be doing it in two parts. The first part, we're going to be discussing one of the very hot topics in the community, and that is the hardcore versus normal game types that are available with the game. I've been also seeing this argument come up a lot on my channel, as well, as you guys are familiar with that I play on both the hardcore and I also play on normal. So I'm kind of giving my insight in this first part of the interview. The second part, I will be discussing a little more about the console and the PC community, and what they wrestle with in regards to that. So you guys can enjoy this first part of this interview, and I will catch you guys at the end of the video.
My thing is, the reason I play hardcore is just because I feel like, I mean, when I shoot a kid in core with the sniper bolt action in the chest, I feel like I'm getting shafted because I'm using a bolt action, and he should drop automatically. That's how I feel. You know, I don't think I should be told to get a headshot every time in order to kill a guy one shot with a sniper. I just feel like I'm getting cheated. So I play hardcore. But when people say like, oh, you're not good because you're not getting headshots, like, it just, I don't know. And I really wanted to hear your side. Like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the first thing we kind of have to cover is exactly the background behind sniping in Battlefield, because traditionally, 1942 and Battlefield 2, the snipers weren't one-hit kills. They were headshot only, and that's how basically the scout or the sniper was back in the old Battlefield days.
Right.
And I think the only gun on Battlefield 2 that could actually one-shot people was the M95. But, you know, it had the lack of a large clip size to deal with that, and the large kick between each bullet. But the whole goal behind that, I think, with sniping back how it was back then, because I've been playing since 1942, sniping has never been it has always been an overlooked class. Like, most players, most people who would play Battlefield in the old days didn't really bother with the sniping class. And the developers themselves didn't really look into how inferior the class was. It was kind of like the I don't want to say lone wolf, but like kind of like the black sheep, the class that nobody really dealt with. It was never used in competitive Battlefield, both in 1942 or Battlefield 2. It was just a very lesser class. And it wasn't until, and I mentioned this in one of my commentary videos, that it wasn't until Bad Company 2 that the actual sniping class, well, now called Recon, they changed it from Sniper to Recon, became an actual competitive class, a class that you can really be an effective player in both close quarter and in a competitive scene. Like, I did competitive Bad Company 2 with the sniping Recon class, and I did relatively good compared to, you know, other players who were also top players.
Right.
And so it wasn't until Bad Company 2 till the Recon became a really good class. And then when Battlefield 3 came out, they kind of went back to the roots of how the original sniping was, and it became more of back to an inferior class. Just not a lot of people liked it. And you could see based off the polls that went up on like what people's favorite classes were. Like, the Recon class was like the least favorite class.
Yep. And
because on normal mode, you're having to deal with 2 shots, and you have to constantly go for a headshot. You're gonna be taken out by any other class. People with not even as great skill as how much skill you could use using a bolt action sniper rifle. It doesn't matter how good you are at getting headshots. Doesn't matter how good you are at drag shots. You would get regular players who are not even as great of a shot as you are being able to take you out because of how inferior the Recon class is.
Right.
And I mean, my argument based off of the hardcore normal scene is the similar argument to how we were just discussing about console and PC. I mean, you're dealing with, I believe personally that the sniping class should be a one-shot, one-kill. I mean, obviously to a certain degree over distance. I mean, if you're
over, you know, body where, you know, above the waist, you know.
Yeah, and I see how DICE has seen that affect, you know, Recon players, and that's exactly why they implemented it in with a new patch, being able to actually, you know, kill your targets at close. And I believe you guys have that patch too, right? Like on
yeah, we
do
also
that now. On
normal?
normal?
Right.
And so personally, I don't think it's enough. I think that I think they could have extended the distance a little farther. Bad Company 2 had more of a better... I was very more comfortable with the distance on Bad Company 2. I think it was 20, 25 meters. You could kill your target. And it was like...
Yeah,
anywhere.
I love Bad Company 2 sniping. I miss it a lot.
And so... I really think if they were... Because all of the other weapons, all the assault rifles, all these, you know, semi-automatic weapons, they do like an exceedingly over amount of damage to anybody over. Doesn't even matter how much distance the person is. You can pick off people from like ridiculous distances with all these assault rifles. And it's clear that the assault rifle, the assault kit, is what's dominant in Battlefield 3 at the moment.
It is very, very,
and I carry an entire team.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've seen it happen, and I've done it multiple times with the assault class.
Yeah. And you don't see any argument that, you know, like, oh, because you're using an assault rifle, it obviously means you're a horrible player. You know what I mean?
Right.
So likewise, if you're playing recon on hardcore, it's, you know, just because it's easy doesn't mean you're less skilled of a player. I think it just makes hardcore more challenging in the sense that you don't have auto heal for one thing, so you're constantly having to rely on your teammates. There's a lot more teamwork in hardcore. There's no 3D spotting. You don't get that little 3D red marker popping up every time you spot somebody, so you have to rely on your mini-map. I mean, there's so many more challenges with hardcore that I feel that hardcore kind of makes all the weapons, in a sense, balanced, that they all have like an equal playing ground. So if you're good at pointing out somebody and shooting them, you can pick them off. You know, you're really good at positioning yourself, which Battlefield 3 core mode, normal mode, already is all about. Like, I feel that Battlefield 3 normal is still more about positioning than it is about aiming, because the weapons do so much damage. They do damage in general a lot more than they did in Bad Company 2. I think Bad Company 2 had more of a realistic, well, not realistic, I don't want to say that, because obviously Battlefield 3 is not based off of a simulation. It's not based off of realism. It's an arcade game, just like, you know, all the other previous Battlefield or Bad Company 2. I think people kind of have this argument that, oh, Battlefield 3 is all about realism. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's an arcade game. It's about having a good time. So I think Bad Company 2 had more of a closer competitive feel to being able to control your aim. Like, it was more about aim. Bad Company 2 was more about aim. You could get shot in the back, and if you had a really good aim, it would depict whether you were going to take that person out or whether they were going to get away. Whereas Battlefield 3, they're more or less likely not going to get away if they get shot. Like, you basically have somebody in your iron sights, more or less they're going to be falling compared to Bad Company 2. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that short interview. Just to reiterate exactly what we went over in this particular discussion, it was normal versus hardcore, and I felt personally that both modes have particular skill sets that go along with them. There's not one that is more inferior to the other. That is my only opinion. Share with me exactly what yours is in the comments below. Doesn't necessarily have to be an argument, just exactly how you feel both modes kind of measure in the Battlefield 3 community. With that being said, stay tuned for part 2, where we will be discussing more about the PC versus console community and how that has affected the game in general. So I will catch you guys later. Until then, you guys take care. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see some more Battlefield on my channel. Until then, take care.